Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If you will move around under the tent so you can hear and see all of the festivities. My name is Kathy Stewart. I am the Main Street Manager for St. Paul Tamara, and I welcome you to this event. We are here to celebrate another milestone for the St. Paul community, and we are certainly appreciative of all of you that have come out to help. Let us be ever mindful of those of our neighbors and friends that are struggling today. We know how that is, so we want to be mindful of them and pray that things recover today swiftly for those that are suffering with the floodwaters, especially our neighbors in Coburn. I want to recognize our mayor, Mr. Kyle Fletcher.
Is this the one? Okay. I want to welcome everybody here. This has been a long time, not really a long time in many ways, but it's taken several years to make this and bring it to completion. And we're very thankful, and as I said the other night, somebody heard the voice from above, the call from the wilderness, and somebody opened Southern Housekeeping and found a boutique hotel in it. Okay. I didn't realize that wasn't speaking loud enough. All right. But we certainly want to welcome you here, and would like to make a point that as mayor of the town of St. Paul, I'd like to take the opportunity to recognize and congratulate Boutique Hotels for their decision to partner with the town of St. Paul in the development of the Western Front Hotel. And that's a long story in itself, but it's been a relationship that's been genuine. It's been outstanding for St. Paul and the total community. Grand opening of such a wonderful facility was made possible by collaboration of a dedicated town council, IDA, town and residence developer, and multiple funding agencies. I would like to offer a special thanks to DHCD, VCEDA, the Tobacco Commission, Virginia Commonwealth, Virginia Community Capital, and CETA. And I would like to acknowledge Bill Shelton, Joey Rumley of DHCD for their confidence in St. Paul and their support in rounding out our downtown and our change to economic future, but continued assistance laid out the groundwork for the venue. The town of St. Paul recognized the creative design and craftsmanship that makes this hotel one of a kind. The Western Front Hotel is a destination. As mayor, I would like to offer a salute to Gary Barker, who's standing behind me somewhere. He was the site superintendent from day one to the finish. And that has become created a mark of efficiency and dedication has become part of our community, the way he works. We wish you and we miss you, Vice Mayor Emeritus. To each and every person that has participated in this project, it was a job well done, and the mission is complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Watch the cord. Watch the cord. Watch the cord. Watch the cord.
You're in the court. Thank you. All right, as the mayor said, we are very fortunate to have lots of partners, funding partners, other partners who have been so generous with their guidance and efficiency, and we certainly want to thank them. And I'm not going to recognize everyone that's here today because there are many, thankfully. And we also want to thank our elected officials and their representatives that are here today as well, and we appreciate you coming. I want to also thank the community here in St. Paul and the businesses here on Main Street and the rest of the town who have helped us embrace this project and have really helped to see it move forward. You know, we hit the jackpot on this one, I believe, and we are so fortunate to have with us today the members of the team that helped us move our vision forward. And I want to recognize Kimberly Christner. She is with Cornerstone Hospitality and Creative Boutique Hotels, who really made a difference in this project and saw that we had a vision and she wanted to be a part of it. Kimberly.
Thank you all for being here today on this cold day. It's been warm and now today we're freezing. But thank you all for being here today. I also want to recognize my partners in Creative Boutique Hotels, Todd Morgan with MB Contractors, Mike Cagle with MB Contractors, and Hal Craddock, our architect, visionary person on the team. I think today we're about to set the great Southwest Virginia ablaze with hospitality here in St. Paul. That's the goal. To make a long story short so you don't freeze to death, when we came here the first time, we really, me personally, and Bob Harrison will tell you it's true, I was saying, why are we in this part of the country? What are we doing? And so when we met with everybody the very first time, and I thought I was coming to look at a building, and I walked into the town hall, and there were 40 people there that had prepared breakfast and were waiting for a presentation that I wasn't ready to present, I realized the passion of this community. And when I got to know everybody in this community, and I got to know the people that really believe in St. Paul and believe in Southwest Virginia, I did catch the passion, and I caught the fire, and all of us did. And we all became believers. And thanks to Luann and 9 Degrees on the Spearhead Trails, we still are here after that trip. So I want to talk a little bit about what we've done here today and why we've done it and how we've done it. Some of you are familiar with this building, it being the Willis Building. And what we did is we did a lot of research. That's what I do. That's my job, is to research and find the creative concept for a property. How do we bring it to life? How do we make people appreciate it? How do we create an experience that's authentic for each and every guest? And so when we did our research, and when I did the research, I learned all about the Western Front. And I read a little book that was called Do, Die, or Get Along. I know some of you might know that book. But I learned a lot about St. Paul and this region, and it really helped me. So that's how we came up with the name, the Western Front. For those of you that know that this is not officially the Western Front, we know that too. We know that this is not the exact location, but it's close enough. And the other thing that we did was we tried to bring in the authenticity of the region. So what you will see as you walk through the building, and we hope you do, we want you to tour and walk around as much as you want. We have some showrooms open for you to see, is that we wanted to name things in the building for the area. So we have Delilah's Gift Shop for Delilah's Mountain. We have the Blue Sulphur Terrace for the famed Blue Sulphur Hotel that was here. We have the St. Marie Terrace. We have the backyard out back for outdoor activities and things like that. So we're going to have a lot of things that you're going to see in the building. We have Norfolk and Western Railroad things all through the building. In fact, before we found Travis, before I dragged him kicking and screaming back with me one day with his mama's help, we were going to name the restaurant Off the Rails, because we are off the rails, and I know about all the railroad stories and how St. Paul used to be called the Western Front because of the bordellos and the drinking and the carousing and the fights and all that. And we're going to bring a little of that fun back. Maybe not exactly like that, but we're going to bring some of that back. So we want to do a little bit of that. So we're going to name the restaurant Off the Rails, and so we intended now to call the bar Off the Rails, and we have Milton's for the restaurant. And in that process of creativity, we decided we'd name some drinks, so we hope you'll have some of them. We have the Clinch River Kool-Aid, because we all drank it. And we have the train wreck, because we want you to go off the rails at the Western Front and have a train wreck. And it's a really good drink, so come on. One of the things that we do for authenticity in the building is we tried to keep as much as we could. We hope you notice it. The tin ceilings that are in the ceilings of the building, they're still here. The wood floors that have been reclaimed, and Gary Barker and his team did all of that. The furniture, a lot of it is made from wood that was removed from the building. We've put it back into the building, so we've made furniture out of that. The doors that were the apartment doors, they're headboards in the rooms now. We used local artisans to help us create that, so we kept it local. So we've tried to do as much as we could. We also have some fun things, and we hope you'll notice those, especially in the bathrooms. We have a little bit of retro stuff in the property, so bringing it back. And some of the things that we're going to do at the property that everybody can enjoy in Milton's, besides the fabulous menu, we'll have TV dinner night. So we tried to bring back a little bit of retro. I don't know how old some of you are, but I had TV dinners when I was growing up. And so we're going to have TV dinners, so you can bring your family, have a TV dinner on an old-fashioned TV dinner tray with all the little sections and everything. Watch a movie. We're going to have game night. We'll have music in the music hall. We have events here, space for meetings, retreats, whatever you want. Private dining on our terraces. So you can do anything you want here at the Western Front, and we hope you'll come. One of the last things I want to say is what we do and why we do it and when we do it and who we do it for is important to us at Creative Boutique Hotels. We go where other developers wouldn't dare go. This rural community where risk is a big factor. We come here. We enjoy being a part of a community. And while we may be the developers and the creative partners, we firmly believe and see this as a community project. We want you to be proud of what we've done. We want you to support it. And we want this development to be a catalyst for transformation and growth. We are good community stewards and we are good partners, and we're going to continue to be that for you. We're just rolling out the welcome mat for visitors, guests, and entrepreneurs to come back to Southwest Virginia, start their business, and start this economic engine that we need. Thank you all for coming, for your support today, and by working together, we can make Virginia's great and beautiful Southwest a destination for tourism and economic growth, and we're starting today by showing our mountain hospitality here at the Western Front Hotel. Thank you.
And it is my pleasure to welcome to Main Street Chef Travis Milton.
Everybody else had a piece of paper with stuff on it, and I'm feeling a little weird. To say I'm overwhelmed at looking around at all these folks right now would be an understatement. And for those of you that know the Miltons, we're never really overwhelmed or at a loss for words, but you guys kind of got me there. But I am going to ramble a bit so I can buy the kitchen time to make sure that we have everything good to go for you guys. About 10 years ago, I was standing in a Michelin-starred restaurant in the middle of East Manhattan, and I was doing some of what they call molecular gastronomy, where you use all these crazy chemicals to do different things with food and get different textures and flavors, and I was there because I thought it was what I needed to be doing. It was what was hip in the culinary world and what was hip with food, and I had this moment where everything just kind of clicked in my head that this wasn't exactly what I wanted to be cooking or doing. Hi, Rich Kirby. And at that moment, I turned around and I looked to the chef and I said, I would much rather be cooking greasy beans than this. And he looked at me very bizarrely and said, why in the hell would you want a bean covered in grease? And then I knew, I was like, okay, he does not get it. And it was kind of a crystallizing moment in my mind and in my heart that I realized that I wanted to, what was true to me was cooking the food that I grew up with. That was the stuff that I wanted and that I craved. And as I went on and as I've seen the stuff done with culinary tourism and with food in the South in general these days, and how it has gone back to such a heritage of the fruits and vegetables and the techniques and traditions of the individual regions of the South, I saw that Appalachia is something it's completely different from the South. We're a part of the South, but we have our own thing, and it's completely ours. And in my nonprofit, I talk a lot about extractive industry and how industries have come into Appalachia throughout its timeline and taken from it, and we've seen little payback. We don't get to see the benefits. So when I decided that I wanted to do a Appalachian themed restaurant or multiple Appalachian themed restaurants at this point, I knew that I had to do it here, because if I didn't do it here, I would be a part of the problem that I've always talked about. So luckily, Kimberly went through multiple channels all the way to my elementary school principal secretary, Miss Lou Wallace, who then got a hold of my mother through Luann Wallace, and my mom said, you really have to talk to these people. They tell that story way better than I do, but that's because my mom said a few expletives on the phone because I was being a pain in the butt. But she's not here for me to, so don't repeat that. But I really saw what Kimberly and Todd and Hal and everyone involved with Creative Boutique Hotels had in mind here, and it really fit, you know, my same thought process of giving back to the community and really, you know, helping and utilizing tourism and culinary tourism as a Kickstarter for economic development in the region. So it's a match made in heaven, and I'm beyond, as I said, overwhelmed to be here right now. So thank you guys so much. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thanks, Travis. And we have another local person who came back home, our general manager of the Western Front Hotel. Welcome to Main Street, Katrina Mullins.
First of all, thank you all so much for being here. We're sorry the weather's a little cooler. I'm not going to lie, I'm regretting not bringing my nice pea coat right about now. But first of all, thank you for all your support in this building and all your support with this project. You know, I grew up in Castlewood, and I left. I moved away, was gone for 20 years, studied hotel management, and worked for a multitude of different hotel companies. And when I decided that I was going to move back, in the back of my mind, I thought, oh my gosh, I've never done anything but hotels. What am I going to do? And I have been blessed to find Cornerstone Hospitality and this wonderful group of boutique hotel ownership, and thrilled to be back here in St. Paul and Castlewood with the Western Front Hotel. And we have handpicked an amazing staff. So when you walk through the property today, what I encourage you to do is ask them questions. Pick things out that look interesting, unique, ask them, because almost everything in this property has a story, and many of you have stories about this property that we would love to hear about so that we can share that with all of our visitors and other attendees that come into the property today. So again, thank you so much for being here. We're excited to make this not only a great location for visitors to the region, but also a community project. So expect to see lots of different events happening in the backyard and in our music hall throughout Milton's, and in general just throughout the property that we'd love to have you involved in throughout the years. So thank you again, and enjoy the property.
Now I want to introduce one of our partners from Virginia Tourism Corporation, Mr. Wirt Conroy.
Thank you all so much. So several years ago, our office got a call from this lady named Lou, and was like, y'all shut your computer off, get in the car, get your butts down here now. And the tone of her voice, we couldn't say no. We were kind of scared, actually. So a big group of us came down, and we descended upon St. Paul. We hit the Spearhead Trail. We stayed in different homes here, different places. We ate, we walked around, and Kathy and Lou and several people gave our group tours. And I distinctly remember walking by this corner and me saying, wow, these buildings are great. I wonder what that, could be. And she was like, that's going to be a hotel. It would be a good idea if it was a hotel, or we might do that. With confidence, she said, that's going to be a hotel. And things kind of for Virginia tourism in St. Paul just started picking up. One of the things you've heard today, which I don't need to repeat, are the wonderful people who made this happen, the stories that everyone has, from Travis to Kimberly and to St. Paul. And you'll find that tourism is made of some pretty odd people. We're people that walk around, and we could go through a main street or even an urban area and look, and we'll see an area that something might be closed, or people aren't sure what's there, and people just walk by. And for us, we stop and we get these big grins on our faces because we have this vision. And it is the same vision you've heard all the speakers here today. So one of the things about tourism is a lot of people think it's marketing, and it is. But tourism really is about planning and looking at your community and what you want it to be, and making that happen and developing it and creating it. And then marketing, which marketing is just a fancy word for telling stories. And the stories that you will hear, many of you know about the Western Front, are just remarkable. And it's one of the things that my office is going to enjoy, telling the stories of the Western Front for years to come. One thing I'll end with is that I really love St. Paul, and I come here because I think you all are as odd and unusual as we are. Because you are a community that some see the word tourism and gloss over and don't even know what it means. And I'm from rural Virginia. You all have on purpose every day woken up, talked to yourselves, and made this happen. You really did, and that's what tourism is all about. So congratulations to you all for all of this. And the thing I'm most excited about is when I come back, I get to stay at the Western Front. So thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great day to be in St. Paul. It's a great day to be in Southwest Virginia. So let's cut this ribbon so we can get inside. I'm going to recognize our ribbon cutters, and if they'll come up, we'll get some scissors for you. Kimberly Christner from Cornerstone Hospitality, Todd Morgan, MB Contractors and Creative Boutique Hotels, our visionary with the pencil. Mike Cagle from MB Contractors, Travis Milton, of course, Gary Barker, MB Contractors, our site superintendent, and his crew did an excellent job turning this building into a piece of art. Katrina Mullins will be on the ribbon cutting, and the mayor, Lou Ann Wallace, local business owner and business leader, and made the first contact with Hal Craddock to get this hotel here. Bob Harrison, representing the St. Paul IDA. Debbie Baca, the St. Paul Town Treasurer, who takes care of all the money and has really done a good job managing this. She's also representing the Wise County IDA today. Joy Rumley from Department of Housing and Community Development and Virginia Main Street. Jonathan Belcher, Executive Director of Virginia Coalfield Economic Development Authority. Sarah Williams, Grants Program Administrator for the Tobacco Region Revitalization Commission. Sandy Ratliff, the Community Impact Advisor from Virginia Community Capital, and Wirt Conroy, Director of Business Development for Virginia Tourism Corporation. So, I'm going to be on the end. We're going to move the podium, please, here. If you want to, if I can get some help with that.
Hold it up there. Hold it up there. Move it out of the way so the photographer, there's cords and things here. I think that's, leave that and move. How about that? Oh, wait a minute. Everybody ready to scoot on down here? Kathy? All right. 1, 2, 3. Go, Mayor. Rolled out the red carpet for you. Come on in.
Well, Angie, we meet again in room 103 of the Western Front Hotel. Angie Carpenter with Russell County Chamber of Commerce. How are you today?
I'm very good. I'm in love with this hotel.
Isn't it pretty?
It's beautiful. I'm real impressed with how they incorporated history into this hotel. It's beautiful.
As we were told outside with the ribbon cutting and the press releases, the headboards of the beds are the old doors to the apartments, and I can see that now. We'll show it to you a little bit later.
It's really cool how they've used pieces of buildings that were from this area. And in the bar area and the restaurant, all that wood in there is reclaimed lumber from this building and the building that they tore down behind here. So they were really good about using things that they had on site.
I haven't made it in that far yet. We've got reservations to dine at 1:30 in Milton's Restaurant. I can't wait to try that out either. I love the little retro red refrigerator. How about getting a shot of that? And then the bunk beds in the corner in this room for if you this kid friendly room. You know, as living here in the Castlewood St. Paul area, I've watched the renovation of this for several years now, wondering what it looked like. And then when they got to the putting up the awnings on the outside and actually putting the paper over the windows so you couldn't see in, I'm maybe even more curious to see inside.
In the restaurant, you know, they have huge pictures on the wall of what this looked like when it was just dirt roads in the St. Paul area. So it was really cool to see what it started as and what it's become now. So.
Well, I can give you just a little bit of history. They said I wanted to share some memories. The Willis Building, my mother, married Vernon Turner, and of course, the people that are older will remember Vernon. He was assistant principal and guidance counselor at St. Paul, and retired from there several years back. But his sister-in-law, Frances Turner, worked at Willis's department store, and Frances They used to make the little dresses to fit on the dummies in the window to show the fashion that was in for the women to wear. So I have 2 of those dresses that they would send in for the put on the dummy in the window. Dummy is that's what I'm saying. Mannequin. There we go. The mannequin in the window, and then the women could see what was available for them to wear. I have since donated those 2 dresses to Frank Kilgore's museum. So you can see those over there if you'd like. I thought they're better there than up in my closet.
And it's just around the corner of this building, isn't it? The museum. I've been in there a couple times.
He has quite a plethora of things in there to see.
A lot of historical things, and I think many people in this area have donated items, you know, so that it could be shared with other people. So
A lot of history. So you're the director of the Russell County Chamber of Commerce. Let's just talk about St. Paul just for a few minutes. Let's see. Now we've got the brewery.
The brewery, just up the street, Sugar Hill. They're actually a member of the chamber. There is a outdoor recreation place that has opened up, and then, you know, we've got the four-wheeling trails, the Spearhead Trails. This is new. There's several new things going on with Main Street. They have a beautiful farmers market in the middle of town, which is just, it's the cutest little courtyard ever. I love St. Paul. I would love to have a business here myself.
Well, you know, they've also opened, I think, Heaven and Earth, which is a biblical place with beautiful furniture made from retro woods and retro pieces of furniture. They have the Mountain View Lodge, which they've taken the old funeral home and turned it into lodging, which is beautiful. Have you been inside that one?
Overnight stays, isn't it? Like for if people are coming to like Spearhead Trails, they can stay overnight there. Yeah, I've not been in it, but I've drove by.
I've had the opportunity to tour it, and it's just as impressive as this. There are also other short stays here in the area, and the Maggie Way Campground up on top of Gray Hill for the campers that want to come in for the four-wheeling. There is the caboose for the down at St. Matthews Park for the tubing and the canoeing. Have you tubed the clinch yet?
Oh no, I don't swim.
Well, I don't swim either, but I want to tube the clinch.
I think it would be really fun. My stepson really wants to go, so maybe I'll brave it and get out in the water.
You know, I see people tubing the clinch today in their backyards.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, we have a lot of water right now.
Yeah, we do. I look at it like I see the view of the river and I see the view around the river. I like to see the view from the river.
It's a whole different perspective.
Yes, it is. So now we've talked a little bit about what's going on in the town of St. Paul. Tell us things that's going on in Russell County that's new to you.
Well, we have a lot of new businesses that have opened up in the past year, and we have a coffee shop that's open, one that's getting ready to open. The distillery has moved into town from out in the county, so you'll be able to sample moonshine in Lebanon now.
Now, where is the distillery located?
It's going to be right beside of Bonanza. They're supposed to open pretty soon. They're getting all their reconstruction done on the building and moving their whole outfit into there, and they'll have a tasting room. We also have Appalachian meats.
Does the distillery have anything to do with Vincent's Vineyards?
No, it's a completely different outfit. It's called Mountain Distills, and they serve 2 different kinds of, I guess, it's called rye whiskey and honey rye, and the honey they get local too. They get it from Castlewood, so everybody's trying to do more local shopping and local business.
You know, home is where your honey is.
That's exactly right. But they're going to have a tasting room, and I think they're going to have some lunch menu too, so you can go in there and have a sample of the moonshine and buy from there too, and then have some lunch or maybe dinner. I don't know if they're going to be open that late yet or not. I think they're still working on it.
So this is going to be legal moonshine.
Yes, it's completely legal. They're actually already being sold in the ABC stores. You have to go in and request it in all the stores but the Abingdon one because it's a specialty ABC store, but you can purchase it legally from any of our stores in the area.
I haven't had the legal kind. I've had the illegal kind, apple pie moonshine, and man, it's good stuff.
Well, I haven't had any of that, but it'll be open pretty soon. I think they were set to open in February, so that will be open. And then we have Appalachian Meats, which is from Gent Farms. They've opened up Victoria. Gent runs the shop where you can go in and buy local beef, and I think they do lamb and pork, and then they also have fresh eggs on site too, so you can buy fresh eggs.
Located where?
It is on Main Street, just down from the courthouse. And then, of course, we've got the dress shop that's opened up, which is mine. It's Get Fancy, and I'm right beside of the new spa, which is opened up. And the spa is in the oldest house in Lebanon. It was the first house built on Main Street there, so there's a lot of history in that building too. Have you been to the spa?
I didn't realize there was a spa in Lebanon. I'm falling behind.
You've got to come and go to the spa. Merritt, that owns the spa, is wonderful. They have a full hair salon. They do massages. They have the hot stone massages. They have a facial area. They do body wraps. They do some of the facial scrub peels. And then they also have a complete salt room. And if you have any allergy or respiratory problems, the salt room is amazing. It helps you to breathe better just to go in and sit inside of it.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome.
I can't wait to get there.
Between St. Paul having all this great stuff and then Lebanon with the spa and new things going on, Southwest Virginia is really moving up.
I think that the people in the town of St. Paul, several years back when they started the tourism things, a lot of people were naysayers, like, oh, it's never going to happen in the little town of St. Paul. But there are people that got on board and literally pulled us into this 21st century with the tourism, and I'm thankful for that, and would like to thank each and every one that had a part in that.
Well, I think we kind of take for granted what we have in our area. We see it every day, and I guess we forget how beautiful it is in our area, and all it takes is one person to remind us, we have this amazing building here that wasn't anything, and they created the most beautiful building out of it, and all it took was a little spark and an idea, to do it, and then a little push from a few people.
I live a mile and a half at the most from here, but I plan on staying all night down here one night, dining on the rooftop, at the rooftop dining, and just enjoying a little time out from home.
It'd be nice. I think I'm going to run away a few days too. You call me when you're coming, and I'll come and stay too.
Okay. Now tell me about your ladies' night out.
So I have started a Live Local program in Russell County. Tazewell County is doing it as well, and Buchanan County, and we kind of meet together, but we work together and separately. And one of the things is trying to get people to shop in your own local community instead of going to Bristol or Kingsport or wherever. And one of the things I've started is it's a girls' night out, and we want to try to hold it one night a month for the mommies and the grandmommies and whoever. You're so busy you don't get to enjoy anything, so they can come out to a business or a store or a restaurant one night a month, and it's all about them and being able to socialize with their friends and not have to worry about laundry or dinner. It's on the hubbies that night. So we're hosting the first one Thursday night at Get Fancy, my dress shop in town, and then next month Sadie's, the clothing shop in town, is going to host it, and Restore, our coffee shop, has offered to host one night. So if we can get that going, and one night a month, you can come out and just hang out with your friends and have a good time and have some snacks, and we'll have different vendors come in too at each place, so you can shop around. You don't have to go out of town. We'll bring it to you so you can have it here.
You mentioned something about the new spring line of Sabika being shown.
Yes, Heather, who's the reporter for our Lebanon News, who's local, also does Sabika, and she's bringing the new line that just came out so that people can see it up front and close, so you know what it looks like.
That'll be this Thursday night at Fancy.
At Get Fancy from 4 to 7.
And is there a website or anything where we need to know about? Or?
I don't have a Website, I'm on Facebook because I teach social media, so I'm a big Facebook proponent. But everyone's invited, not the guys, sorry fellas, but it's a girls' night, so you can come out and hang out with us. I'm going to have door prizes. We're going to give away some really good stuff, and you can come and have snacks and punch and talk to the girls.
4 to 7.
4 to 7.
Put me down.
I will. I'm going to look for you. You can come out. I've got a couch set up in our dressing area, which everybody's calling it the Say Yes to the Dress couch. But I've got plenty of room to hang out and chat with everybody. It's going to be a good time.
That's great. Anything else you want to tell us new about Russell County that you can think of right now, Angie?
Well, we have a lot of events coming up. I'm doing a small business workshop in the spring in April, and it is not just for businesses that are already going. It's for people who want to start a business. Maybe you just want to be a business owner and you don't even know what kind of business you want to be. It's to serve all those points and to help you be sustainable after you start a business. And then also in May, we're doing an outdoor recreation expo in the conference center parking lot in Lebanon, which we're going to have outdoor recreation things, outdoor utility vehicles, anything that you can do outside, we're going to have people set up there so you can come and view it. So that'll be a good time. And then we're also doing a mountain music and beer festival in Cleveland in June. So be looking for more details about that.
Mountain Music and Beer Festival in Cleveland.
Yes.
See, Cleveland's a little town on the Clinch too, isn't it?
Yes, it's on the Clinch River, and we actually were accepted into the Crooked Roads Mountain and Music Festival guide with this. It's our first year having it, so we hope we have a really good turnout. It's going to be in June, which kind of heads up the end of Cleveland's revitalization. They're getting a new campground. They're getting a new park, a swinging bridge across the Clinch to go from the park to the campground, and a whole new parking area. So it's pretty cool that they're going to be finishing up with that right in time for our festival.
As a little girl, I used to love those swinging bridges.
I know they're so cool. They're building a brand new one across the Clinch, so you'll have to come and try that out too.
I may end up crawling, but I'll try it.
Well, hopefully it won't swing that much. You know, their technology has made it a little bit more sturdy, I think. But it'll be an exciting time to come out and support Cleveland, who also is working on their revitalization to bring businesses back to their community.
Make sure and get us all that information to ARC TV so we can pass it along to our viewers.
I will. I'll send you everything I can.
Angie Carpenter, Director of the Russell County Chamber of Commerce. I'm Rosalie Gilchrist. You're watching ARC TV, and we are at the grand opening of the Western Front Hotel and the Milton's Restaurant. I'm going to see who else I can find to talk to. Welcome back. You're going to hear a lot of chatter in the background. That's the people touring the Western Front. And here is Greg and Jennifer Bailey, the owners of Sugar Hill Brewery. And they were in touring the Western Front, of course. And let's talk to them about the brewery. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. Well, we're very happy to be here today. We are so happy that what was a hulking, empty building in downtown St. Paul took up such a huge part of it is now a beautiful, beautiful place like this. We feel like it's going to help our brewery by having people come into town. We'll have more, usually people eat more than one meal when they're in a town. So they will eat here and at the brewery. So we're very happy. We don't feel that they are competitors with us. We feel like together that we'll, yes, and collaborate.
Well, Kendall, my oldest daughter, lives in Michigan, has been away from home for years and years and years. And when she came in about several months back, we kept the girls, and she and Troy came down to the brewery, and they were just very complimentary, very, very complimentary of it.
Thank you. We talked to her that night. They sat at the bar, and we had such a wonderful conversation because we were talking about people we all knew. That happens to us so many times at the bar. We usually work behind the bar on weekends especially. Well, I'm not there except on weekends, but we have the best conversations with people who are from this area or who have connections to this area. They come, sit down, and talk. That's one of my favorite things about the brewery. It's all the people.
And what's your favorite thing on the menu?
My favorite thing is probably the wings, but I think a lot of people like the wings, but everybody talks about our fried pimento cheese balls. It's on a layer of pepper jelly sauce or Asian sauce. It is wonderful.
I know I was going to say that was my favorite.
Yeah. There are so many things to choose from, though. We also have the burgers that are made from Gent Farms beef, And so they're constantly delivering more beef to us because so many people come and eat our burgers.
I enjoy the barbecue burger. That's my favorite.
Yes, that's a good one because it has the brisket on top and the barbecue sauce. Yes, it's very good.
There was a funny thing. A couple weeks ago, we spent some time in Richmond at the legislative session, and every agency we went to would say, "Have you had their cheese balls to each other?" They were talking about our cheese balls in Richmond. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That is good. So, can you name me the person that you've spoken to that's come from the farthest away to dine with you?
Well, I don't remember their name, but we have a map there in the brewery where people will mark where they're from. Yesterday it was someone from Wisconsin, but we have somebody who had written Norway. We only had a map of America on there, so they had to write Norway and drew an arrow to it. So we have people from all over because
Czech Republic,
yeah.
Canada, lots of different places. So.
But people regularly come from Tennessee, from the Tri-Cities area, Jonesboro. Somebody drove yesterday from Abingdon just to fill up a growler of Warm and Fuzzy. That was her favorite beer. So people are always traveling and coming in. So it's a wonderful thing.
Now, I work in Wise a lot with the court system, and you'd be surprised how many people I hear talking about. Have you been to the brewery? We were over and ate last weekend. The food was so good.
Good. We always like to hear that. Yeah, we appreciate everybody
Especially
traveling.
if they say it's good.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for talking with us.
Well, thank you.
And St. Paul is a great place to be today.
That's right.
It is.
Room 103 of the Western Front Hotel is the place to be. I have Kimberly Christner here with me, and I'm going to pass the microphone to her and let her fill you in on everything. She's been working since 2015 here with this.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here today. We're excited to be here. Today's our first day. We've been working on this project a little over 2 years. And we're excited that we have 30 rooms to show, and we have done a lot to try to be authentic to the building and to keep it authentic for the community. So the headboards. Yeah, the headboards are the original apartment doors that were on the upper 2 levels of this building, and the wood floor the wood that we pulled out of the building has been put back into the building in the form of dining room tables, the bar in the restaurant, nightstands for the headboards, tables that we've used. And then we've been able to keep the tin ceiling, and we've also been able to keep the original wood floors.
That's the tin ceilings when I came out.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's been really good. And then we've tried to keep a lot of the art throughout the property. So we have historic art that's in here, such as Norfolk and Western bonds and security bonds and stocks. We also have photography from local photographers of the region, which has been great. And everything that you'll see in the rooms is very warm and comfortable. It's a sink-in kind of property, yeah. And we have bunk beds for the kids if they come, and the oars on the outside of the door, which are the room numbers for the Clinch River for kayaking and canoeing. The Roost which is the community room, has an ATV chassis that's the light for the pool table. So we have some fun things like that. And we've kind of gone back with a kind of a retro feel, kind of to make people feel like they did when they were children. We have the little cotton bunny holders with the cotton balls that you can purchase, and my mom had one of those when I was a kid. And we have retro refrigerators and the red refrigerator's cool. And so we've tried to mix a little bit of glamorous, a little bit of wonderful luxury linens and luxury tiles, terry cloth towels, and amenities with some fun and comfort. And so you get the best of both worlds here.
Let me tell you something I think would be interesting and advantageous to the history around here. If you had DVD players and several copies of the movies and at the front desk for people to take to the rooms if they so chose to, we have shot Big Stone Gap, the movie in Big Stone Gap with Ashley Judd and Whoopi. We also have Coal Miner's Daughter, Sissy Spacek, which is shot in Wise out that way. And what's the other one that they did around here recently? There's 3 movies I could name earlier.
Believe was done in Bristol.
Big Stone Gap the movie, Sissy Spacek's Coal Miner's Daughter. Oh, and the one that they did Fire Under the Mountain.
Under the Mountain.
That was done around in Kentucky. So anything, movies that were done right around here close that people may enjoy watching to get a more feel of the heritage or more feel of the community, that would be good to have too.
Yeah, and we also have our TV dinner night. So in Milton's in the music hall, we'll have TV dinner night, and that's another thing to throw people back to their roots. And that was, I grew up on TV dinners. And so we have the metal trays with the little sections on them, and you can come in and watch a movie and eat a TV dinner. And we could certainly feature some of the local films that were made around here. I think that would be fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add?
Come join us in Milton's for supper. Join us at our table.
Reservations at 1:30.
Oh, very good. I don't know. Oh, let's see. It is 1:13. You have 15 minutes. And then come back in the spring and summer when the backyard is set up. We'll have the music stage out there with some bands. We have fire pits out there and a big barbecue pit where Travis is going to roast whole hogs for the community. And so it'll be a good community space as well as a good space for the guests.
I've been watching, like I said, I've been watching the renovation since I live just a mile and a half from here, and watching it all go together. Was impressed at how the back cleaned up so nicely.
It did clean up nice.
It did.
And I think a lot of people got a little upset with us when we put the brown paper on the windows.
I wanted to see in so bad.
What was so funny about that is I was doing a talk to a group of people, and they were like, "Oh, I just love watching everything go on," and I thought, that's not good. I need to cover those up because it needs to be, nobody needs to watch you in your underwear when you're getting dressed. They need to see it when you're all done. So we just decided to put paper on the windows and just take it off when we were fully dressed. And so
You made us more curious that way.
That's right. It's more exciting that way.
Thank you so much for speaking with us, and we're going to go rouse me up some more people sitting here, and we can talk about the heritage of St. Paul.
That'll be great.
Thank you.
Do it. Let me go get...
Todd Morgan has found his way to room 103, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what the part he had to play in bringing the Western Front Hotel to St. Paul, Virginia.
Thank you. Yes, I'm with the general contractor, MB Contractors. That's my day job, as I like to say. I'm one of the owners of that company, and we've done a lot of historic renovations over the years, and absolutely love projects like this. This one's a little bit different for me because I'm actually a member of Creative Boutique Hotels with Kimberly, Hal Craddock, and Mike Cagle, who's the other partner in MB Contractors with me. So it was neat to be involved with this one from a development standpoint. I worked real close with Debbie Baca with the town, who's phenomenal, and handled all the financing side of the project. I worked through all that with the tax credits and VCC and VCITA and the grants they had in place from DHCD, the ARC and IRF grants. Virginia Tourism Corporation has had a grant in this, so worked a lot on the financial side, and then somewhat involved with the construction. So,
well, as a resident of the St. Paul Castlewood area, I've of course been through town many a time with M&B construction vehicles and see your workers, and I must say you all conducted yourself in a very organized, a very mannerly, a very professional way.
well, thank you. I'm blessed to have some really good people, and Gary Barker, who was our superintendent out here, has been phenomenal. He's done a wonderful job, and as you heard out there, he's even Vice Mayor Emeritus here in town, so per Mayor Fletcher.
I was impressed though with that everything went in such an orderly fashion, and I thought, wow, they've got this down to a science.
Yes, we've well, our company is 105 years old, so we've been at it for a while.
That's right.
Yes.
Is that old?
No, I don't. I feel it though some days. But no, this was a challenging project in that we had to jack the building up over the course of 4 or 5 months. We had jacks all throughout the building and had to jack various pieces of it up. But it's turned out wonderful.
It's turned out beautiful. I love it. Can you give us an idea what going rate per night will be?
I believe the ADR is around 105 a night, so that would be the average daily rate over the course of a year. So I'm not sure about what the actual range will be.
Well, then that gives the general public a good idea of what that is. Thanks for speaking with us at ARC TV.
Thank you very much.
I have with me Luann Jesse Wallace. We're partners in crime of many, many a thing, aren't we, Luann?
That's correct. We have done a whole lot of fun things together in our lifetime.
Oh, ask me another time to tell you about the couch, the kids sitting on the couch waiting on the school bus in my front yard one day.
Yes, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Luann, I am so impressed with everything that you've managed to do. I know you're one of the movers and shakers that's got behind and said, let's put St. Paul on the map. Let's do this. We can do this. And so many of us, I'll say us, I'm not me. So many people have said, well, you know, it's just St. Paul. And people are moving out. And you've got people moving in. And you've got things happening around here. I like the tubing the clinch. I want to do that. I haven't done that yet. I know that there's the campground up there, Maggie Way Campground. The breweries come in. Mountain View Lodge has really changed around and looks beautiful. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out. Ronnie David's redone the bank building, has short stays over there, plus the barbecue in there. There's been a grooming pet shop opened, and Heaven and Treasure, Heaven and Earth.
Heaven and Earth.
Heaven and Earth. I know she's opened. Hometown Hardware's opened.
New beauty shop.
Trending Floors is opened. And what's the one that Melison's got?
Clinch River Life.
Clinch River Life. So we've got a lot of new businesses opening in St. Paul, and you are one of the catalysts that helped to just launch all that. So tell us a little bit about it, Lou. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thanks, Rose. Well, it just didn't happen yesterday, and communities don't just happen overnight. They are they're worked on by the people who live in them and love them. And one of the things that I discovered about 18 years ago was a friend of mine, another partner in crime. We would meet in the grocery store and we would say hello to each other, but we really didn't talk about the needs that was happening in our community. And I'm going to preface something by saying a lot of people will interview us and say, well, the downturn in the coal industry. And 20 years ago, we were in booms and busts, and that's the nature of the business. We understand that. But we understood that our downtowns were falling apart at that time. You could be in a time of good, and the downtown looked terrible and wasn't functioning, and it was dysfunctional. And you could be in a time of bad, and it still looked the same way. And then good would come along again, it still looked the same way. So it's called a community by choice. And so those of us that got the fever and understood how to do it, we've had some disappointments, a lot of disappointments along the way, and we've had to deal with political folks, and we've had to deal with community folks who were naysayers and still are. But you rise above that because you are determined that you can put a community together, and it is your choice what your community does and how it looks. And so we chose the industry called tourism a little bit, but that is an attractor in itself in the beautiful way that things come together. So you have to start out saying, well, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And so we were trying to determine how to stack it all up and make it look good and get people to buy into it. And that's been a hard and tormentous moments for us, that it was hard to do. This is not an easy thing. You can look at us and say, gosh, look what those folks are doing. What we're not doing, or what we are doing, is we are not taking no for an answer. In fact, we say absolutely no. It's a real strong no, if you know what I mean. And so we just say, we can do this, we believe in this, and you know what? When people believe in you, and that's the good thing.
You have to believe in yourself first, and you sell that well.
All of us are we are a marketing machine, and we can make anything look good, even at its worst moments. And what we have determined is, don't let them see you sweat. That's correct. Don't let them see you sweat. You're good. You can do it. You know it. You feel it. You got it. You can sell it. And so we have been that marketing machine, but we believed in ourselves, and we knew that we could do better, and we had to do better. This is not a St. Paul thing, because if everybody will go back and think in the back of their minds what St. Paul originally was, it was a hub of just the community coming together for economic development. You came to the grocery store, you came to the drugstore, and this was in the 40s when downtowns were coming alive and we shopped other places. But as infrastructure came along when we were young, I didn't have a 4-lane by my house all the time that I was growing up. And, you know, once that infrastructure comes, people can leave just as fast as they can come in. And so I think that we all went exploring in the great wide world to say, wow, look what's out there. And we didn't really realize because we were sheltered in our little bubble here in the mountains. And our little hills and hollers kept us in close proximity. So we shopped a lot here. And when the company stores closed, then people came to St. Paul. At one time, St. Paul was the home of 3 theaters. We've had 3 theaters in this town, if you can believe that.
The Lyric, the Gaiety, and what?
The Gaiety, and the one that's in the Cavalier, and I believe it was the Cavalier. I think it was up there in what's now known as the Phillips Building. Okay. And so that's the second theater, and then Mr. Turner built what's called the Lyric today. And that's going to be a whole new project for us. That's our next stepping stone. So what you see here today is going to be a wow factor when we get the Lyric put together, because we have taught ourselves to look better, think better, and be better, because it's for all of us. This is not a Luann project. This is not a St. Paul project. This is a Southwest Virginia Appalachian project.
I understand that.
And it is for all of us, because once you catch the fever, you can get it. Once you figure out how you stack it up and how the idea stacks up, you cannot stop it. You cannot stop a community of people who believe in the same thing. And you know, a lot of places have people that are a little faction doing one thing and a little faction doing another thing. But we all learned that we had to sing out of what I call the same hymn book. And once you do that, it is girl power. There's a lot of girls on this, a lot of women that are involved in this. But our guys on the other side are powerful people in the town. We have IDA folks. The mayor's wife is on our committee. And they've affectionately called us the mafia. And we don't mind that, because we kind of function like the mafia, and it's kind of fun. We're not cruel in any way, but you know, we just have that, okay, guys, just move out of the way, because here we come.
Nobody's buried under the Willis Building.
Nobody is buried. You will find no bones here. You'll only find a great future and a good hope for all of us. This is a hotel, but it is an economic catalyst for us. It is.
Thanks so much for speaking with us. You inspire me. Anything I can do to help?
Oh, you're on our list, you know.
No, I didn't know.
Not our hit list, but it's a good list. You know, with the state park coming, and certainly we're going to be playing host to that. We have just gotten word at this General Assembly when we were in Richmond. I was able to talk to my very good friend, Clyde Chrisman. I'm going to drop some names here. He is the Director of Department of Conservation and Recreation. And so that means he's at the very top of the food chain, except for the Secretary of Natural Resources and the governor. So Clyde's a good friend of mine, and I just kind of barged in his office, and I had some questions I wanted to talk to him about the state park and the issues there. And he assured me that we are one step closer to having a state park in our backyard. So in other words, not to mention any names or where it is, but when you stand at the top of the stairs and look out over the mountaintop, you'll be able to look at the Clinch River State Park, or a portion of it. Mm-hmm. And so we have a lot of ideas going on, and we're just getting started. So the more the merrier. If you want to join up, or anybody in the audience that's listening, come on. It's free. We just use you. We use our friends. But thanks for talking to me.
Thanks for talking with us, Lou. You've done a wonderful job. You with a lot of other people, but I know that you were one of the driving forces.
Well, I do have a big imagination, and my husband Bill says that I'm like a June bug, that he just ties me to a string and he just turns me loose, and I'm out there like a little June bug, and finally I get tired and land and quit, and then I'll go back again and fly around. So yeah, it's our funny story that we share with each other, but that's kind of me. I'm a June bug, I guess.
Thanks for speaking with us. What time do you have?
I have no idea. I don't carry a watch.
I think it's time for our reservations in Milton's Restaurant. Rosalie Gilchrist, ARC-TV, and I'm going to go eat. Kathy, have you had lunch yet?
Yes, I have. I had meatloaf. It was delicious.
Okay. I have ordered the special burger, so when we get finished, I'm going to eat my special burger.
Okay, I hope that it's very good. Should be.
Okay. Kathy Stewart with us today, and she is in charge of the Lyric Project, and so we're going to find out, get an update on how that's coming along, because the town of St. Paul is really growing.
Well, Rosalie, we've been lucky enough to acquire a grant from Appalachian Regional Commission in the amount of $300,000. And we are currently in negotiations with an architect. We have the contract ready. The town council will be approving it next week. And we are waiting our initial drawings for phase 1, which will include exterior work, doors and windows, any brickwork or structural work that needs to be redone. And that will begin as soon as the architectural drawings are approved by Department of Historical Resources, because we do want to revitalize the building and restore it to be historically accurate. So we're hoping that construction will start in August, early August, with the outside work that needs to be done. Of course, we're continuing local fundraising. We have activities like bingo, and we sell different memorabilia, items and swag. We have straight donations. Anyone who wants to make a donation to the Lyric Project can certainly do that. So we're still trying to raise money to continue the project. But phase 1 will cover the exterior work, and hopefully maybe the marquee will be included in this part. That'll be a real eye catcher for a lot of people.
So when the Lyric is completed and finished and open for quote-unquote business, what do you have in mind for the venues? What do you have in mind to showcase there?
Well, we're going to have live music, live theater, and also old movies, because it will be set up to show movies, but not first-run movies. That will be for special events and things. We're also going to have meeting space and conference space in the project area, because we are certainly in need of large meeting spaces. General seating in the auditorium will be about 225. Then we'll have some smaller breakout rooms that can be used for small meetings, and then that space will then be able to open up if we need it for general seating for activities. We will, in the Lyric Shop area, that will probably be a catering kitchen and used for events and for conference meetings and things.
That was my next question, the Lyric Shop.
Yes, we're going to bring that back. We've discussed making it in as a diner, but we're still not sure about that, but it will be available for catering so that we can make it available to people who are having conferences and meetings. We'll be partnering with the hotel here a lot to have meeting space for groups that are staying here as well.
So on your money goal, how far up the needle are you?
Well, the project is about $3.4 million, and with the grant and some local funding, we're up to about $450,000. So we've got a long way to go. If anyone would like to make a donation, you can send a check to the Lyric Project, Post Office Box 375, St. Paul, Virginia 24283. You can go online to our website, www.stpaulmainstreet.org, and make a donation online, or you can make a donation directly to Carter Bank and Trust here in St. Paul.
Okay. And I know that large donations are appreciated, but just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit adds up.
It certainly does, and that's how we've gotten to this point. $50, $100, $1 makes all the difference. People buying our for fundraisers and things, those are important. And we're having a fundraiser just tonight here. The Sugar Hill Brewing Company is partnering with the Lyric Project for a dinner theater, and we're also showing that same show. The group that is performing is showing again at the high school on Friday night.
Okay. So any way that ARC TV can help you with this project raising to get the word out there, we'd love to do that, Kathy, so don't forget to send us the information.
All right, I'll certainly do it, and thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Rosalie Gilchrist with the grand opening of the Western Front Hotel. Thanks for watching ARC TV, and see you again next time.